In this video, I'm going to talk to you about what the 99% of people don't tell you when it comes to running your 24/7 AI agent, and that there are two hidden truths that you must understand in order to leverage this tool called OpenClaw. Now, if you stick around until the end of the video, I'm also going to show you how I'm using my phone Telegram app connected to my Mac Mini, which has 4 different independent agents running with each other. And as a bonus, if you stay until the end, I'm going to share with you a tip that you can share if you have employees that's going to help them understand how they need to think going forward, leveraging this tool for your company. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Yesung Cho. Most of the times I do podcasts on this channel. And if I can introduce myself, I'm a computer science high school teacher turned into an entrepreneur. While most of the people, in order to grow their wealth, they would invest in things like real estate and stocks. What I've done in the last 2.5 years is invested about $250,000 into personal development and hiring the best coaches in the world when it comes to building personal brand and business. And in the last 3 weeks, I've invested 300 hours as well as 600 million tokens to configure this setup called OpenClaw. And so let's dive right in. What is the truth that they don't tell you when it comes to having your own 24/7 AI agent? And number one, it's that it is difficult to configure. It's easy to set up, but it's difficult to configure. And let me tell you what this means. You see right now, 99% of the people are saying, wow, this new tool called OpenClaw, all you need to do is write this one line of text into this app called Terminal that you have, and it's going to set up and work for you perfectly. And the truth is, when you do that, you set it up, but the work really begins then. It's kind of like you open your eyes and in front of you, there is a foundation of a house, concrete, and there's all these building materials in front of you, like lumber, tiles, bricks, electrical wires, plumbing, and you literally have no idea what to do with it unless you're technical and savvy. And one of the most frustrating things that I've seen online is that there was a coach. He has a group of people, it's like a monthly fee thing. And in his explanation, it's like, oh, there's a new update for OpenClaw. And he runs this update on a live. And it turns out he could not debug as it was going through. And I knew what the line he had to put in to fix it. And it was just so frustrating because all these people, there are the real tech founders who's been in it since the inception of the internet, which is great. When they talk about it, there's trust and authority there. But there are these newbie players that are coming in to just make noise because it's AI and it's important. Now it's autonomously doing things for you. It really muddies the waters for people like business owners that needs help, right? Now, before I go on any further, I'm going to take a step back. For those of you that are really like you're understanding there's some signals going on with this proactive agent called OpenClaw. I don't know what to do with it, right? And I'm going to paint you the scene of what happened and why it's important. And when you understand this, it makes sense. Oh, that's why everyone is now investing in it. And I should think about investing it appropriately. So a couple weeks back in February, this is what happened. In AI, Opus 4.6 came out from Claude. And basically what that means is this version was different because now it was able and capable of rewriting and writing code for itself. Think about that for a minute. Up to this point of the development of the computer and the internet, software has played a critical role. There's monetary values in stock markets, billions with software value. And the reason why Opus 4.6 was so important is because it now showed you that this code and this language model is capable of not only writing itself, but fixing it and continue to develop it as it needs to make it into a better product. So that means if you are now the holder of this technology, which everybody has access to if you pay a subscription, and if you have a mindset of the creative, thinking about what is it that this world needs and go off to create it, it does magical wonders for people. Now, that's the first news. The second news is that in the same week, there was a software called OpenClaw. He designed it before, but it really took off in that week. And the reason why this one was different is because this is now an agent that is proactive. Most of the times, 99% of people still use the prompting in ChatGPT and Gemini as if you're asking a question, like a Google search. It's like, how do you do this? What do I do this, right? However, the reason why OpenClaw is different is because when you configure it, first of all, and then ask for it to do a task for you, it will spawn different agents and go off and do the task and come back to you when it's done and report it. And so you would say, why is this important? Well, think about electricity. Everything is seamlessly interconnected into your house and your building, right? Now, the next layer on top of that, think of it as like Wi-Fi, right? You don't see the signals. Yes, you see the towers, but it's just available for us to use at our disposal. And I believe OpenClaw is not like an app where you open and close and just use it like that, but it's something that's going to be on 24/7, continuously rolling and building your momentum for your business. So that being said, the hidden truth is that when it comes to running your own 24/7 AI agent, it is not an easy task. And I believe as a business owner, you're probably busy working in your business right now, and you don't have enough time capacity to install this technology as its inceptions. And the best bet right now is to find a person like me who is a technical founder and understands how it can mold and shift into your business in a customized way. Think of it as like an end-to-end solution. Now, some of you might be asking, okay, yes, I'm like, how did you start and how would you recommend me start to at least to dabble in understanding what this is? Well, the great place to start, and I would only recommend this place, is x.com, Twitter, right? And I would have you go into Grok and ask it, who are the 10 people that I should be following on X when it comes to learning about OpenClaw, the 24/7 AI agent? And as you ask Grok, it's going to probably give you some profiles that you are probably going to resonate with. And having a technical background, I mean, I've been teaching students programming for the last decade, right? I understand how this terminal thing and CLI and MCP and all those things work. But honestly, it took me 2 weeks full time to configure it perfectly to my standard of business. And so number two, what is the truth that they don't tell you about when it comes to running your AI agent? And it's the fact that you need to be specific on the use cases. Now, just in a second, I'm going to share with you how the layout looks like on my phone and how I'm using 4 different agents over Telegram. But before that, I want to talk to you about the use cases. You see, when OpenClaw came out, the people that were tinkering with this technology, they just said, hey, here's a credit card, just like do whatever you like. And some people have lost thousands of dollars because the technology went off to buying Alex Hormozi's course or investing in something that was not deemed by the author. And it just had no guardrails, right? And there was no specific use cases. And especially, there was no angle to help business owners save time, buy back their time, and save costs in terms of labor. And so how many of you probably thought, man, I wish there was a day where I could probably have access to like Jarvis, the Iron Man, where it would do a lot of things for me, right? We've all dreamt of that day. And how many of you, if you think about your current business and where you're stuck, you know that one, outreach and like getting leads is a problem that you'd like to solve or get more of it. And two, the way you're converting clients, like you want to solve that, right? And I believe for the business owners that are a bit more mature in their business, they're now looking at different ways to give higher pricing, higher premium offers so that they make more money on the top end as well as the bottom end. So now let me just connect my phone. Okay, first I'm gonna show you my Telegram group chat of how it's set up. So right now there's 4 staff. Right now there's Steph, the one with the sunglasses, and she's my chief of staff. And underneath her, there's 3 different agents named Kim, Dave, and Nat. Kim is the person that researches the market news and the signals and then reports to me on a daily basis. And Dave is a coder. He's going to be building software, websites, and internal softwares that I would need for my business going forward. And I'm going to show you an example. And lastly, I'm using Nat as the person who's a packager, like package and positioning against my offer, right, of the signals that Kim would bring from her research. She's responsible for packaging newsletters, emails, blogs, articles, as well as scripts for videos like this. Now, this video wasn't scripted from her. I did it myself because right now it is day 2 on my build. It took about 2 weeks to configure. Yesterday was my first, 2 days ago was my first day of building. And yesterday was day 2. Today is day number 3. And so I've set up different agents. I'm going to call them AI staff. And then there's one room where I'm bringing them all together so that they can have a cohesive conversation. And so this morning, Nat was saying, "Hey, what you've asked me about preparing a document last night, because her task is to go search 20 different websites on Twitter, X, LinkedIn, as well as tech articles and blogs to think about, okay, what is happening with the tech layoffs, what's happening with AI, and what are the concerns that parents would have, that CEOs would have." And she's marking down the sentiments and the feelings that are coming out from the marketplace. I've only set up my morning table, general, and code build, because that's what we've been really working on. And there's both Dave and Steph in this code build. I haven't really set up the other two because, again, I'm building one after another. But it goes to show, like, I can access them quite easily, even as a voice message. So check this out. I can even talk to Steph independently and say, I'm going to hold down the mic and say, "Good morning, Steph. Can you just give me an update of what we are working on today, what the individual people are doing, and what does the priorities.md file look like?" And now you can see that it's typing. Now it just kind of goes up like, "Hey, here's our daily tasks." And so slowly it needs to configure to your liking. Now, you might be wondering, okay, what is different? What is this different about compared to other like Gemini or language models? Well, for one, it's that it's local, meaning I have my separate device here in my office. And the reason why this is important because it continually learns about your standard of operating and your standards of the business so that it's not in the clouds. And by the time if you want to create some software or a product from it, it is not deemed as the company that holds it, but it will be deemed as yours. And people talk about a lot of the security issues. I believe if you configure it right, which I have done here, I believe there actually isn't much security issues that you need to worry about, especially building this OpenClaw. So that's one of the use cases in terms of daily activities of trend and content creation. So I want to share with you another use case that I have here. And with the agent Dave, who's my code builder, I told him, "Hey Dave, like we are a pre-rev company and this is what we're looking to do. We're looking to help provide service for business owners that wants to set up their local device like Mac Mini to set up their OpenClaw, right? And these are some of the pain points that they're in. And I want you to go and make a website." Now, this is, I believe, the 4th iterations. It just came back pretty good. But I said, "Hey, if you were to rank it out of 100, what would you give?" And at first it was like 68 or something. And as I kept them prompting it, and honestly, it kind of felt like I was going back to high school where students would bring me their projects and I'll be like, "Oh, this is where you need to make improvements." And then they would go do it and they would come back and say, "Hey, does this look pretty good for you now?" And so anyways, I want you to look at the copy of things, right? Your business deserves AI that works for you. Now accepting early adopters. 99% of the businesses are drowning in admin, and the 0.1% that deploy AI staff to automate scheduling, follow-ups, operations are building an unfair advantage. Be one of them. Like, oh my goodness, the copy is so right on. It says join the waitlist. It says 1,000, and by the time this video is live, it's gonna be at 2,000 or 5,000 because again, there is so much demand of people who are not technical. They don't have enough time in the business to install this and configure it. And so this is one of the services that we are providing as Pair Perfect, right? And look at this copy. Most businesses are running on fumes. You're buried in admin tasks, scheduling, follow-ups. The list never ends. You hire people to grow, but they spend half their day on process instead of progress. Like, come on. And it also gives you a chart about like, oh, what do you believe? Like Pair Perfect versus hiring a VA. Oh my goodness, what a topic it is to talk about, right? It gives you like what it's gonna cost, 2 to 4K for a VA. Availability is 9 to 5 and there's time zones. Sick days, you have to cover them. Onboarding time, 2 to 3 months. With Pair Perfect, 2 to 3 weeks. And you never have to pay sick days and you're always available 24/7. I even had a friend, who I was talking to saying, Like before I was really diving deep on this and I said, hey, how can I help with your business this year? And long story short, she said, hey, you know what? Something happened with my VA. Like they lost the laptop device that we gave to them. And so it's just basically starting from square one again. It's like, oh my goodness. Like, look how much resources and time you spent trying to create this SOP and it doesn't yield a return fast enough. Now your energy is drained, your monetary is drained, and you're still thinking about the business, right? And so like for it to come up with this, all this like Zapier, right? This is amazing. And also there's AI staff for every industry. So there's like dentistry, agency, contracting, virtual assistants, coaches. And when you click on them, it shows you like what the benefits are. It's like, holy smokes. How does this now understand? Like, do you see what I mean when I says the level of intelligence is now here? And when you give it the task and the guardrails to go and execute, it's now going to go and do this for you. And it's like, how do you integrate it into your business? Wow, there you go. There's situation one where there's you, the CEO, and you have actual people, head of operations, content, finance. Each of them can have their own AI staff. Or if you have an EA, the EA can be equipped with their own staff. What's another one? It's like in here, there's one picture. Steph is missing, which is our chief of staff officer, right? But like, look how like it's just unfathomable of how this is all working, right? And so this, in terms of a use case, especially for business owners, let's say if you're in your 7 to 8 figure, your problem is now all internal. Like, yes, your offers are being made. You're thinking about using ads to scale. You're thinking about, okay, how do I train up so-and-so, let's say Sophie, from one area to the next level? And you know that you can't just train somebody up without having somebody else fill in that role, right? To have them move up to the stage, right? And so in terms of use cases, there are so many that you can apply where it's repetitive. It's the most task per cost basis. And so I think we're living in a time where this is all really exciting. And so I'm also going to share with you some of the numbers. Okay, so some of you are probably wondering, okay, how much did it cost you, Yesung, to install up to this point, now having configured 4 AI agents running autonomously, right? So there's the cost of Mac Mini, which about in Canadian dollars, it's about 900, the base model, like nothing, just the pure base, right? And up to this point, I've used 600 million tokens, right? What that costs about in terms of dollar figures, because again, different language models cost more, and I've made it efficient so that there's 97% savings across my tokenizations. And so it came down to roughly $600. So 900, 600, we're at 1,500. And I spent about 300 hours and more in the last 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, configuring this, all the internal memories, all the deep memory, as well as their personality, how they're going to share the task between the team members, how they're going to communicate with me without, having the security breach, right? All of that is the time, right? And what I can tell you in terms of saving the cost, right? I know from personal experience, as well as hearing from other founders, technical founders that are implementing AI into their business, they said, you know what? I would have had to pay $40,000 to get somebody as a copywriter for my website. And now with AI, I was able to do that in a matter of minutes. In their team meetings, he said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Do you think it's possible? The team said, nope, it's going to take about 2 weeks. The founder actually went off using OpenClaw as well as Claude Code and spun out the solution in about 2 weeks, and about 20 minutes. That was gonna take the team about 2 weeks. Like it's crazy how efficient things are, and in the world that we are living in now. So let's summarize the video as we end up here, right? So the 2 truths that you need to understand in order to set up your 24/7 OpenClaw agent is that first, if you are non-technical, do not set it up yourself. Hire me as a service, hire somebody that you know and trust that understands, not just install it, but to configure it according to your business standards and how you would like to operate. right? That's the most important part. Anybody can copy a line of code from the internet, open up your terminal, and then install it. And in fact, that's what the 90% of the people are telling you to do. That's what you need to do. It's like, no, there's a whole layer of configuring a person, how they think, how they execute, the rules, how they continue to reiterate. It's like sort of like machine learning, right? And learn from their mistakes. There's a lot of that goes in. I'm going to tell you this as a tip, right? If you have employees, I saw it's like a quadrant where it's like, the question is, there's a big, huge tech layoff that's coming. That's already happened. You may have lost your job, but this could be your biggest opportunity to make the pivot because you understand tech, right? And it's that the chart was talking about, who do I hire? Who do I fire, right? And in the quadrant, the criteria for keeping and training and or hiring was, do they have one, good judgment, and two, do they know how to use AI? And the fact that is, if they have good judgment, which means they ask good questions and they don't have AI capacity, they can learn that, which is fine. But then if you have staff members that are against AI, they have never opened a GPT or prompted it before, they are becoming dead weight in your business. That's what the quadrant was basically explaining. And I'm like, wow, this is absolutely 100% true, right? And so if you don't have good judgment, how do you start to have good judgment? Well, OpenClaw is a bit of on the extreme end when it comes to setup. What I would suggest to you is use something like Claude Code, right? Or Claude Cowork, right? Where you can still, in a prompting manner, get a lot of the work done, right? Once you as an employee think about, all right, now I have judgment, now I have the creative freedom to understand how I can think of for the business, for the employer, then they're going to notice that you stand out, right? And so you likely would not get fired, even maybe be promoted in the company. And other use cases that I've seen is if you have a CRM like Salesforce or Go High Level, and you give it access to understand where things are, right? It would actually help you pinpoint all the deals that went under, but the ones that you can revive. It's going to look up in their LinkedIn and like the changes that has happened, and then probably like it's going to draft you an email or a sequence of emails that you can follow up in order to capture a sale. One of the examples, especially with the agency founder that I'm talking about, Eric Siu, he said OpenClaw has went through his CRM and has suggested you should connect with this person and then say this message on LinkedIn. And so lo and behold, this company is a multi-trillion-dollar company, and he was in talks to now doing a 9-figure deal with this person, because that company, as a tech company, they're all wondering, how do I implement this thing, AI, going forward? Like everybody, like the playing field is leveled. It's time to go play, right? And so that's another use case that you can leverage for your business. Especially if you're a business owner and you're trying to get leads, you've been trying content for maybe a year or two, and it still just doesn't bring you leads. There's a way that you can orchestrate the OpenClaw to go through the personnels that you have on your LinkedIn, as well as your contact list on Instagram, to really match up and give the best probability of who might need your service going forward. Another use case that I mentioned here on the video was that Kim, who's doing the daily research of the trends, right? She's looking at least 150 web pages, and she's consolidating and synthesizing the emotional things of the emotional sentiment that the marketplace would have. And this right now is a critical thing for me, because when you hire somebody to go through all these websites and to do a research, it would have costed you tens of thousands of dollars and a team of people to do it over 2 to 3 different weeks. But now you can do it over 2 hours, 1 hour, as long as the task is given properly. And so that is one of the use cases that I'm personally using it. And lastly, as long as you have the ability to create and think about, oh, like this is going to be perfect for my business, you now don't have to hire a marketing agency that costs 6 figures to get it done, or other like copywriting or software development, or even hiring, talent acquisition. Like, how do you help your HR department deploy this AI so that it helps them hire the best amount of people? So right now in the Internet of Things, there are people complaining, oh, there is no use cases. It just feels like child's play, and just don't give it its credit card because it's going to spend a lot of money. But that is actually not true. The level of intelligence is here and it's already being deployed. And so I hope that you found this video helpful. If you have any comments in regards to the AI or something that you realize, I want you to comment down in the comments section below. And also, if you are a business owner that you want to implement this into your business, but just don't know where to start, and you don't trust all these other people that gives you the YouTube video to say, install this, and you've done that, you probably have to wipe out and redo it like 3-4 times. Save yourself the headache. And if you really find the value in this technology, you can hire me in my website, pairperfect.ai, and go sign up for the waitlist, and I will get in touch with you. So when you do that, I will help you find the end-to-end solutions for your business going forward. Now, that being said, now you understand the 2 hidden truths that you must know when it comes to running your own 24/7 AI agent. I wish you all the best. Again, if you have any questions, type them in below, and I'll see you in the next video.